Finally got you on here. Excited for you to tell your story because your before and after pictures are awesome. So definitely got to get you on that motivational Monday. So break it down. Who are you? What are you doing? Are you working? You going to school? What's your day like and stuff like that? Just who are you and what's your day like?
My name's Timothy Chavez. I'm 19 years old, and I'm a full-time college student.
All right, college
Like,
kid, super
flag
busy.
right here, University of Incarnate Word.
Nice.
I actually thought about, since I'm into like health, I was actually thinking about changing my major, but I think I want to stick to the business.
Is that what you're going to school for? Is business?
Yeah.
Nice. How many more years do you have? Shoot, you probably got 3 more years left, huh? Or you got 2 more?
Well, I'm actually a junior.
Oh, you're a junior?
Yeah.
Nice. You must have graduated when you're like 17, huh?
Well, I got some college hours when I was in high school.
Oh, nice. That's awesome, man. So,
Yeah.
have you? So you've been doing keto and everything like that. So let's give a background of your life. So, were you always overweight as a kid? Did you do sports or anything like that?
As a kid, I think I always struggled with weight loss, and I was always overweight because like I'm the in the family, I have four siblings, and I'm the biggest of them all. Like
Okay.
I'm 6'3".
You're
I'm
six
taller than all of
three.
them. Yeah.
Holy mackerel! All right, you're
So I'm
like
the
a whole
tallest
foot
one out
taller
of
than
the
me
three.
almost.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I always struggled with it. I was always like the biggest kid, but I mean, in middle school and high school, I played football. I was offensive lineman, you know.
So everyone
So
was
they
always
always,
telling you to get bigger and get
yeah,
bigger.
they said put on that weight so nobody could move you. So I think I was always, I always struggled with being overweight and stuff like that.
All right. So how long? So what made you? Did you ever try and lose weight ever, or did you finally just be like, all right, I need to do something?
I think, I mean, I tried, keto because I knew I've been knowing about keto. I tried it, but I was never able to like stay on it for a long time like I am now.
Hmm.
So I think I've definitely tried losing weight, but it just never stuck.
So what made it different this time since you are doing keto now, and obviously your results are amazing. So what was your why? Did you have a why? What was the epiphany? What happened when it clicked for you when you're like, I'm gonna go full board on this and actually start getting the results that I want?
So I think it was about 10 months ago, I was hospitalized. Um, I didn't know what it was for at the time, but I was in the hospital for 3 days, and the doctor had told me that I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. So then I was on medications. I was on insulin, and I was taking a bunch of medications. So after that, I was like, this is not what I want to do. So this is not what I want to be. And I just stayed. I've been on keto for 10 months now, and I've lost over like 100 pounds.
That's crazy. So what happened? So you went to the hospital. But obviously you were in a sugar coma essentially. So the doctor came out, was like, "Look, you're type 2 diabetic. You need to be on all this insulin. You need to be on these pills." And then right then and there, you're like, "I'm changing."
Yeah, it was like at that point I knew that this is not who I wanted to be in the hospital. I mean, I was in the hospital for 3 days, and I really don't even remember what happened because I was on these, like, all these needles were injected into me, putting insulin in me and stuff. And then at that point, I was like, this is not who I want to be.
That is awesome, man. Like I love, it's not awesome that that happened, but it's awesome that you had the scare factor. It happened. You were in the hospital and you were like, "No, this isn't what I want. I need to change everything now." And now you're down over 100 freaking pounds. Dude, I love it. That's an awesome story. I love it. I didn't know that. That's so cool. That's so crazy. Like because like a lot of people get diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and they're like, oh, it's fine, whatever, and they'll just start shooting themselves up with insulin when they eat all the bad stuff and everything like that. So that's freaking awesome, man. And you're young too, so like even I feel like with people who are young, they're like, it's whatever, it's fine, nothing's gonna happen to me. How did the family react and everything like that when all this happened?
At the time, they were all like kind of scared for me because, I mean, they didn't even know what was wrong with me because I was just having all these like symptoms,
Mm-hmm.
and they were just like really scared. And I mean, I was scared too. Like, I didn't even know what's gonna happen. And I mean, after they basically, I told them like I'm gonna start losing all this weight and stuff, and they just stuck with me and they supported me through it all.
That's awesome. So your family was definitely your support system.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Did anybody in the family do it with you? Did the whole family change, or was it just you?
Uh, there, my sister and her boyfriend, they're like really into fitness, so they do keto with me, and like sometimes I like to work out with them, so they work out with me, and we do a bunch of exercises and stuff.
That is freaking awesome, man. Oh my gosh, that's I can't wait for this to go out now because like so many like people are gonna get so inspired just with that alone. So, are you still diagnosed with diabetes, or have you reversed everything and you're off everything? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, my last doctor visit, it was like a couple months after the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
because I was before when I got out of the hospital, I was taking insulin injections every morning. I was taking a shot of insulin, and then I would have to also take metformin. It's like a pill you take to lower your blood sugar. So 3 months after that, I was off the insulin and I was just taking the pills.
Just by
And then
changing your diet.
yeah, and then I think a month after, because I always check my blood sugar every day,
Mm-hmm.
I noticed like even with when I wouldn't take the metformin pill, like it wouldn't change my blood sugar at anything. So then I just decided myself that I'm just gonna get off the medication because I don't think I need it. And then I went to the doctor, and then he told me that you don't need any more of the medication.
That's awesome, man. Like just even with that alone, like I saw the statistic on it. Like people who are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, anyone who's diabetic, it's going to cost over $6,000 a year just for all the insulin and medication. So uh, you're saving a nice pretty penny on that. I can't get over that. Like that's so crazy. So it's awesome that you have the support system at home and everything. So what were you eating before, and then what are you eating now?
So before, I guess you could say I was eating anything that I wanted whenever I wanted.
Anything and everything you put in front of me, I'm
Yeah,
eating it.
cheeseburgers, pizza, anything, tacos. I was eating. I mean, now it's just basically I eat a lot of like proteins. I eat like fish, meats, steaks, and a bunch of veggies.
Have you found it hard to switch to eating all of that, or do you think it's a lot easier?
I think in the beginning probably was the hardest part because you still have all these temptations around you and you're not used to, your normal diet. But
Mm-hmm.
I guess now, I mean, I'm basically just used to eating my diet now.
So, what happens when you go to a party or whatnot? Because you said you're in San Antonio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, everyone's having parties and stuff, I'm sure, and all the bad foods around. So, what do you do? Like, what makes it so you don't eat all that stuff?
I mean, for me, it's when I think about, because I always get temptations about if I want to eat this or not. And the way I look at it is like, I worked too hard to get to where I am now. So why go back to where you were before?
That's awesome, man. So you got a definitely a deep why, that's for sure. Go to the hospital, being diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And were you 18 at that point then?
Yeah, I was 18. And when I was hospitalized, I was 360 pounds.
So you're 360, and what are you at right now?
Right now I'm at 250, but at my heaviest, I think at my heaviest that I ever saw, I was 383, but I think I was a little over 400 pounds.
Holy
At my,
macro, man. So you're down to 250 right now.
yeah.
That's awesome. Dude, that's awesome. How many days a week are you working out?
I try to do something every day. Like I like running. I run every day. I do weightlifting.
Right, you run a lot, huh? You're running like, don't you run like 5 miles a day or something crazy like that?
Yeah, I usually run between 2 to 3 miles a day, and there's a day of the week where I go a little hard on the running.
That's crazy. So when did you start working out right when you started doing keto?
When I started keto, it was more of the diet than anything, because I was seeing results right away just from the dieting, and I thought to myself, I mean, if the diet's working, why do the exercise?
Right? It's easier to eat clean than it is to work out, because I hate working out, honestly, and everybody's always shocked with that. Like, you're a trainer. How in the world do you hate working out? It's like, it's time consuming. It sucks. It's not fun. It's a lot
And then,
easier just to control what you're eating. Oh, that's crazy. So you switched to the nutrition side. So what made you want to do keto in the first place?
I mean, well, for a diabetic, any carbohydrates is going to raise your blood sugar. So as a diabetic, you want to keep your blood sugars as low as possible. So I mean, I guess that was the biggest reason why I stuck to keto.
Did you like where'd you hear about keto?
I think it was because I was in football, so we had like trainers and stuff, and they would
Did you go to college for
sometimes
football? Are you in college for football?
no,
No, just in high school.
yeah,
Got
and
it.
they would sometimes they would put us on diets, like the linemen. They would put us on keto,
Really?
so we wouldn't eat any carbohydrates. But it wasn't for long. It was like for like maybe a week or two, and then
Huh.
we'll get regular diet.
That's super interesting. So let's talk about the before and after, man. Like your before and afters are absolutely crazy. So did you want to make sure you took before and afters, or are you taking them every month now? Are you still taking before and afters?
I take Well, before I started seeing results, I wasn't taking any before and after pictures. It was just basically old pictures that I had from when I was overweight. And now I take one every month, one
Every
every
month?
month.
Nice. So what is it? How do you feel when you go back and look at that before picture?
I mean, it just it's just hard to look at them and to see how bad I was with my diet and my exercising. It was like it just I don't know. It just brings back bad memories, I guess, because of everything I was eating. And then my health, it just went down from there, eating.
What's crazy to me is like it's happened to like when I look at like a before picture of like when I'm doing a winter bulk or whatnot, I look at that, I'm like, I don't even notice. You don't notice it when you're that big.
Yeah.
Was that the same thing for you? And like all of a sudden the diabetes, the hospital thing happened. Let me ask you this. Do you think if you weren't diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, do you think you would have made a change yet?
No, probably,
No.
I don't think I would have made a change. I think it was the diabetes that had to turn the switch on and told me to change.
That scare factor. That's what usually happens.
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask that. I'm like, I'm super curious, like, because like it's not that hard to just keep gaining because you don't notice it or whatnot. So how long did it take for you to be like, holy cow, keto is actually working?
I think within a month, well, I was losing weight within a week of being on keto. But I think as it got longer, I was dropping more and more weight. And I was even noticing some of the clothes wasn't fitting me anymore. So I was like, man, this is really working. And then after that, that's when I started introducing like running and exercising and stuff.
That's awesome. So you got the nutrition on point, and then you started working out and everything. How were you feeling? How do you feel on it? How do you feel? How did you feel when you first started and whatnot?
When I first started, that probably was like the hardest because I was like, I guess they call it the keto flu or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Feel bad. But I mean, I think I got used to the diet and I mean, now I feel full of energy.
That's
Feel like I can
awesome.
do anything.
That's awesome. I bet when you run, you're like, man, you can just run for hours now. Obviously you do. You're running tons of miles a day. So what would you say, like, what did you learn more throughout the 10 months? Like, what helped you the most doing keto? What helped you the most to stick with it? And where did you get all the information from? Like, where were you learning?
So learning from keto, I watch a lot of like YouTube about different doctors and like professional athletes who follow the keto diet. I watch a lot of their videos. You too. I watch your videos. You help me a lot. And I just watch the videos and I basically just learn whatever they're doing and I try to incorporate it into my diet.
Nice. Were you tracking calories from the beginning or no?
So at the beginning, no, I was just making sure I wasn't eating any carbs. I wasn't worried about the macros or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But now I do track calories and macros.
Have you seen any change doing that?
Yeah, well, like there was a point, I think I was like at 270 and I was stalling.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't losing any more weight for like a month. And then I started to track the calories and macros. And then that's when, right now, I'm down to 250.
That's awesome, man. How many weeks did you say, like a month ago? How long have you been tracking macros and calories now?
I think it's been 2 months, 2.5 months.
2.5 months. Now you're down 20 pounds. You broke that stall. Love it. Do you feel better? Do you think you were under eating or overeating?
I think I was under eating because on my fitness power or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
it said that I need to, for my calorie goal is like 3,400 calories.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like eating normal and I was barely going over 2,000 calories.
Yeah. And what's crazy is everyone's like, oh my gosh, 2,000 calories is way too many calories. Everyone thinks 1,200 is the way to go. That's awesome. So you switched at the calories, you switched at the macros, you broke the stalls. What do you think? What have you struggled with the most doing keto during this whole last 10 months?
What I struggle with the most probably is wanting to break the keto diet, getting all these temptations, parties, whatever, whatnot, having different types of food in front of you. But I mean, once you understand how the keto diet works and what it does for your body, I mean, you're not going to want to go back to where you were before and lose the results.
Right. So what do you do with when you're at the parties and everything?
So usually, like, say if we're having a barbecue, like whoever's hosting the barbecue, because they usually like put barbecue sauce and everything, and I'll
Mm-hmm.
call them ahead of time and tell them if they can grill the meat, but just no sauce. And then, or sometimes I'll even take my own food and cook it myself.
Oh, really? Nice. Or do you drink at all? Oh, you're only 19. Just kidding. I forgot. I'm gonna have to edit that one out. I'm like, yeah, do you drink? What do you do at these parties? I'm like, oh my gosh, she's 19. I forgot.
Water,
What?
water.
Water. Right. We'll stick with water. Are you doing any other like substitutes though for like instead of water? Like, was there what food do you miss the most?
I would say because over here in San Antonio, it's more like a Mexican food that we have a lot of.
Mm-hmm.
I would say tacos and like the Mexican foods that they have. Because like over here for breakfast, everyone has breakfast tacos on like a tortilla. Those are full of carbs, and I kind of miss having that.
Yeah. So what are you
Yeah.
doing? So what are you eating instead of that then? Like when everybody else is having tacos, what are you doing?
So usually what I do is I make those like the cheese tortillas
Oh,
where you melt,
really?
yeah, and then you
Nice.
just put meat and avocado, whatever you want inside of it.
That's awesome. So you're still eating all the good, delicious food. You're just not having all the carbs with it. It's like the tortillas, your little substitutes. That's awesome. Love it, love it, love it. So I always love asking this question. What have you, so like when people ask, what are you doing? What have you done? And you say you're doing keto. What do you say to all the naysayers? Like how is that, has anyone ever been like, oh, keto's not good for you and all this stuff?
I mean, I had a couple of like friends and stuff like tell me what I'm doing, and I tell them that I'm doing keto, and they say, isn't that diet bad for you long term? I mean, there's always going to be people who hate on what you're doing and stuff. I mean, I'm pretty sure you get some of the hate too on the keto diet.
Absolutely, man. You don't even know, like, absolutely. But it's always my favorite. I'm like, look, if it's bad for you, why in the world is heart disease the number one cause of death in the United States? It wasn't 30 years ago. And whenever people are like, oh, keto's so bad for you, you're gonna have a heart attack. Having a heart attack from eating meat and veggies? I'm confused. So
Yeah.
yeah, definitely, man. I definitely get it. So have they changed their mind now with the amount of weight loss you've had?
I mean, some of them, I help some like family and friends because they obviously they want to lose weight too and see results. So I tell them what I'm doing and I give them like tips on what they should do. I mean, they follow whatever I do, and I mean, they see results. So I guess it works for them too.
That's awesome, man. That's the thing too. Like whenever people are like, "Oh, it didn't work for me," I'm like, you were doing something wrong. Like it works. The goal is controlling insulin and hitting your calorie goal and everything. So that's always a super interesting thing to me is when people are like, "Oh, I did it and it just didn't work at all," and I'm like, "What do you mean it didn't work. Everybody who's I've ever had do it and did it right, they've got amazing results. So it's always super interesting to me. How has it been doing it, eating this way for the last year, since been going to school and being a college kid?
I mean, before, like, I was diagnosed with diabetes. I was on campus, and they have like a bunch of restaurants and stuff there. Like they have a Chick-fil-A, like they have fried chicken. And before, I was always, eating at those places. I didn't know what it was doing to my body. But I mean, now I haven't been on campus since the whole COVID thing. So I'm just at home now, online. So I
I
just cook
was
my own.
I was wondering that. I'm like, it's been 10 months. I'm like, it's almost the whole COVID thing right now. So I was curious about that. Are you cooking all the meals for yourself, or is mom and dad doing it?
No, I do all my cooking.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's
Well, they
awesome.
their own meals, and then I cook after or before them my meal.
That's awesome, man. So that's crazy. You're down over 100 pounds in less than a year. You're working out, doing keto, tracking your calories, tracking macros. Um, what would you say to, so what are you telling your friends and family who are wanting to get help and stuff? So they're trying to do it. What are you telling them to do? And what are you telling them, like, what would you say is the biggest thing to avoid when doing keto when your friends ask?
Well, like some of the friends and family that want tips, I tell them like I'm not gonna give you any tips if you're not gonna stick to the diet because they want to lose weight, but then they eat whatever they want on the weekends.
Trust
So
me,
I
I
feel
get
like
it.
if you really want to see results, you got to stick to it for a while. You're not gonna see results right away. It's a process.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. And you didn't take any fat burners, ketones, any ridiculousness like that. No saran wrap.
No, I didn't even hear about those until the end of my keto. So I mean, I didn't even need them.
Right? You don't need anything. So let me see here. So you've made it. You're doing amazing. When do you think is going to be your, where do you want to be at? What is your goal? Ultimate goal. Where do you want to be at? What's your weight? And then how do you want to look?
So I think my goal weight, I'm only 10 pounds away from it, but I think I want to keep going, keep losing weight. And my goal is probably to be more toned because right now I have like a bunch of loose skin from losing all the
Mhm.
weight. So I want to see muscles kind of, I guess.
No, I get it for sure. I'm always curious on that because like I feel like because like I played football and I get the linemen's like as a lineman of always being a lineman, you are never like I'm gonna be absolutely shredded and look like all the receivers and defensive backs or running backs. So I was curious like if like the lineman mindset's still in your head, like no, I still want to be looking like a lineman, but no, it sounds like you definitely don't. So that's awesome. So I'm always curious on that one. I forgot that you're 6'3". That's insane. How did you not play college ball being 6'3"?
I mean, well, I played my first two, my freshman and sophomore year, I played high school
Uh-huh.
and I was on varsity, but then the last 2 years I focused on school because I was doing a bunch of college classes in high school. So it was either the college classes or football.
I get it.
And
So
I,
you're super busy.
yeah,
I got it. That's awesome. So you're almost done with it. What do you want to go to school? What you already go to school for business. What do you want to do? I'm super curious.
my concentration is finance. So I want to do something within the finance industry.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. So are you gonna do a 4 year? Are you doing any interns? Super curious.
I'm doing one in the summer for Bank of America.
Nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. Awesome. So super busy college kid. Are you doing more? Are you doing 12 credit hours? Or are you doing more?
It's 15.
15. Yeah, you're doing, I had a feeling you were doing more. So super busy, still eating clean. Um, what do you do on the weekends then? So what are you doing on the weekends for still eating clean? Like which day do you think the weekends is harder to eat clean or do you think it's during the week?
I think the weekends is probably the toughest because that's when, everyone gets together and wants to hang out and they bring, foods that they eat. So it wouldn't be something that I would eat. But I mean, during the week's pretty easy because I just cook for myself. I make my homemade meals but probably the weekends I would say the hardest.
Nice. So we've been talking, and you found me on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have True Meal.
Yes.
So you finally made it with coffee,
Yeah, it was pretty good.
dude. Game changing with coffee, right?
I even had my younger brother try it, and he even said it tastes exactly like Starbucks.
Yes, it tastes like a mocha frappuccino. Absolutely. What kind of coffee did you make it with?
I just used the regular black coffee
Nice.
from
What
Starbucks.
brand? It was Starbucks. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Everyone's always shocked on how it is with that. When do you normally drink it?
I drink it before, like I think 30 to 45 minutes before I do a workout.
So you're drinking it before the workout? Nice. That's how I always do it too. Did you tell a difference at all? I'm just curious on that. Did you tell a difference drinking it before your workout?
Like the first time I had drink it before I went running, I I could notice the difference. Like I went for a longer time.
Oh,
I didn't get.
really? That's awesome. Whenever people ask, like, should I do this before I go run? I'm like, I probably wouldn't because you might want to throw up, but you did. How many miles did you run the first time you drank True Meal?
I think it was only like 2 or 3 miles.
Two or three, only two or three. And I'm over here like, I don't even want to run a mile. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that's awesome, man. So over 400. Now you're running multiple miles in a day. If what would be the thing that you would tell anyone when they first start? When they first start, if somebody messaged you like, "Hey, I want to do this. What should I do?" What would you say are the most important things to do in doing keto?
So the most important would probably knowing what you could and couldn't eat, like what you can and can't eat. So staying away from all the processed carbs like breads, pastas, staying away from all of that. And I would say also doing the tracking your calories and macros because that's important too. So knowing how many grams of protein, fats, and carbs you're supposed to be taking.
Awesome. I love it, man. Your story is awesome. I just like it's so inspiring that like you literally went to the hospital. Doctor's like, yo, you got type 2 diabetes. Did they say like you need to make a change? Or was it just you in your head like I have to do this?
So whenever they were gonna release me, the doctor or the physician, whoever it was, they told me for you to get better, you need to lose 10 pounds. And
They
then
said 10 pounds
yeah, they said 10 pounds and get your, I think what is the blood thing they do?
glucose,
Yeah, they wanted it to be down to 7, the A1C.
A1C, gotcha.
And then they wanted me to lose 10 pounds. And then I just said, I guess that's not that bad. And then I ended up losing way more than that.
It's crazy. Like, oh, just lose 10 pounds, you'll get healthy. And then you're like, I'm gonna lose 100 and I want to lose even more now. That's
Yeah.
crazy. So what happened? What happened when you went back to the doctor visit? Like, what's your doctor saying?
So I think the first visit it was like a couple weeks after the doctor's visit. So I wasn't that much, down in the weight, but I still, I think, lost like 20 pounds. And he was even asking me, like, what am I doing to lose the weight? And that I'm on the keto diet because sometimes when you have diabetes, like if you don't control it, you could lose a lot of weight. And he thought it was that, but I told him that I'm doing the keto diet.
What'd he say?
He was just telling me like that's a lot of weight to lose within a couple weeks.
That's awesome. So what does he say now that you're down 100 pounds? Because I'm sure you've had like multiple visits.
I have a doctor's visit next week.
Oh, no way.
I don't think he's seen me down all these weight yet.
That's that's gonna be awesome, man. You're gonna walk in. He's like, I'm expecting someone else. Who are you?
He's probably gonna say, "Who is it?"
Definitely will. Shoot, I wish we would have done this after the visit because I want to know what he says. You got to let me know, man. Do you have anything like on social media? Did you post any? Like, do you like post your story at all anywhere or no?
I mean, I haven't posted it yet, but I'm going to start like a YouTube channel and like basically tell my story on YouTube.
That's awesome, man. Definitely will inspire a lot of people. That's why I love doing these motivational Mondays because everyone is like, it doesn't make sense. Like, of course, you were a trainer, you were an athlete your whole life. It's easy for you to say, but then you've got people who are over 400 and are dropping weight diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, women in their 40s dropping a ton of weight. So that's why I love doing these motivational Mondays. Seriously, I appreciate you a ton telling your story. Do you have anything else you would want anyone else to hear, or what else you would want to say?
I mean, just want to tell them, I mean, if I could do it, I'm a type 2 diabetic. I mean, you could do it. Anything's possible if you just stick your mind to it, and you got to stick with it.
Love it, man. Seriously, guys, appreciate you a ton listening or watching the Fullerton Motivational Monday. Appreciate you guys. Make sure to smash that share button because you don't know whose life you can impact of having them watch this or listen to the Motivational Monday. Have an amazing day. Have an amazing night. See ya.